It should have been a minigun.
It should have been not him! It's not fair!
Listen, I'm just saying, this...
I mean, it's alright, like...
It's okay, but this... There is a reason the community is talking about it, and this gave me an idea. Alright, so hear me out. That new Strand exotic sidearm and Quicksilver Storm got me thinking. Strand bullets track, create tangles, and act as weaponized cords, right? So, what if instead of the Titan Strand super being this, it was this? So this got me thinking. A lot of the community has been talking about the Strand Flamethrower concept art shown in the showcase. In regards to that, I say no. That doesn't make sense for a subclass all about interdimensional wires connecting all living things. I say instead of a Strand Flamethrower, which sounds hilarious by the way, I propose something so much more fitting to the fantasy, thematic, and totally, 100% something a Titan would do.
That's definitely you.
You see, I say save the flamethrower concept for future solar super. Y'all already know probably 5 years from now in the next saga, light subclasses will be revisited again for an eventual light 4.0 update. They always are, it always happens. You know how it is. That's when I would say hell yes to a solar flamethrower to be added onto the Titan arsenal. I would love to see that one day.
That has got to be the gayest jacket I've ever seen.
Snajkurka! Pudełku pił!
In this video, I will share this idea I had on why I personally think a green minigun, third-person wielding Titan super, using the already existing in-game code of Sweet Business, would have been an amazing alternative for the new Titan Strand subclass, and potentially a much-needed change to the Titan playstyle. First reason why this super should have been a minigun. Long distance. Bruh, Bungie, y'all hate giving Titans long-distance supers, man. Between yeeting our own damn selves to get closer to the boss, as well as throwing hammers, literally every other super we have is for the up-close and personal. Now, hold up, I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point to being a Titan after all. And I love punching as much as anyone else in the room. But it would be really nice to have the variety of distance options within our super arsenals like the Hunters and the Warlocks have. Now, imagine this. Imagine you pop that new Strand super. Your Titan lights up green, becomes like a juggernaut from Call of Duty. He summons a massive glowing green minigun that lasts for about 5 to 10 seconds. You see, the fantasy I have in mind is, after rapidly killing a certain amount of enemies with this super, the sheer amount of cords that shot from this thing in such a short amount of time will entangle into one another and create tangles for you and your team to use to throw and grapple onto, greatly benefiting yourself and the homies. Along with that, imagine finally having an actually great long-ranged DPS alternative for the farther away bosses, like Oryx, Kel Echo, and so many more. For all my Titans, you know the pain. We don't really have anything super-wise that we can chuck or throw or shoot for these longer-ranged enemies. We're kind of forced to use Bubble and Sentinel Shield and Thunder Crash. That's it. That is why, alongside the ability to create tangles from a certain amount of rapid kills of enemies, I would also make it to where this Death Machine super would have a perk that when the Strand wires keep hitting the same enemy over and over and over again, the damage accumulates and the wires explode. Yes. Not only would the Strand minigun create tangles for you and your team if you clear waves of ads with it, but for the bosses and mini-bosses of Destiny, if you choose to shoot this thing onto them, the more wires that fire onto them, the more the follow-up wires make them explode. Imagine that, guys. How amazing would that be to see and to use? The ultimate Titan fantasy. Now tell me, is this not the better alternative to the new Titan super? Yes, I know your answer is yes. and you know it too. You see, this idea I had is perfect for both sandboxes as well, because with the Strand minigun being a potentially devastating option in PvE, it would obviously need to be tuned accordingly to only last for a certain amount of time, otherwise it would be kind of a menace in Crucible. Once you pop the super, you got 10 seconds to use it to its maximum potential, otherwise it goes away. Because as when a Titan pulls this thing out, they are not going to be an oppressive, obnoxious force running around with a free heavy weapon to wreak havoc on everyone. Because you see, personally, I think that's a way better option than the other Titan super in the Crucible area, and I will explain why. Y'all are not going to be ready for the Titans in Crucible soon. Watch out. One moment you will be in a close fight with one, in the air. The next they will become the Chainsaw Man, and you will not survive. That's it. Guess I'll die. Not to mention, Titans will be flying through the air like mad crazy with this thing. There's a reason I used the Chainsaw Man reference. However, with my idea, this would be the exact opposite. This beautiful sight that would make Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger proud could potentially age beautifully in PvE while not being over the top in PvP. See, cause unlike the new Titan super, which will be a menace in midair, a minigun super is far more grounded. And if I see a Titan pop one of these things in PvP, I either run and take cover, waiting out the timer, or take him out quick while he's walking slowly on the ground if I can. It's perfect for the potentially new airborne mayhem sandbox that is coming for us. Prepare yourselves, guys. Airborne Crucible fights is coming. It should have been this. Not this. Haha, whoa, kid! Bring that new death machine power-up you've been using into the Gambit arena. Pop that sucker on the Primeval, or use it on the Tormentors if I feel like dropping them into this match. Oh, wait a minute. That's also an Aksula 1 idea, wasn't it? Hasn't happened yet. Hey, go watch this video about it and hear more in detail why the Tormentors and Lucent Hive should be copied and pasted into Gambit, why don't you? Tell Bungie to let me have these guys. It'll be wild fun. Anyways,
Strand Flamethrower!